Hello and welcome. I'm Parikshit Luthra and you're watching Newscentre. A stormy winter session has come to an end. Both houses of parliament were adjourned sine die. The 21-day session saw many adjournments as the centre and opposition clashed over a host of issues. US bribery charges against the Adani Group rocked the parliament as the opposition held protests, demanding a discussion on the issue and a joint parliamentary probe. They also moved a historic no-confidence motion against Rajya Sabha Chairman Jagdeep Dhankar, alleging partisan conduct. But the numbers were not on their side. There was also a heated debate on 75 years of the Indian Constitution. The BJP accused Congress of amending the document for their own benefit, while Congress's Priyanka Gandhi, in her debut speech, accused the NDA government of weakening the Constitution. The Union government also introduced the One Nation, One Election bill in Lok Sabha. They have now been referred to a joint parliamentary committee. Yesterday, a scuffle broke out at the parliament's main door when Congress and BJP MPs held protests accusing each other of insulting Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Congress also sought the resignation of Home Minister Amit Shah over his remarks on Ambedkar. Two BJP MPs were injured in the scuffle and they claimed it was Rahul Gandhi who pushed them. The BJP filed an FIR against Rahul Gandhi. In response, Congress MPs also lodged a police complaint over alleged misbehavior towards party president Mallikarjun Kharge inside the parliament complex.
इंसिडेंट जो हुए हैं, जो घटना घटी है संसद परिसर में, ये बहुत ही निंदनीय है। हाथापाई का नौबत आना ये अच्छी बात नहीं है। कुछ सांसदों को चोट भी लगा है। पार्लियामेंट में सब लोग जनता का प्रतिनिधि के रूप में चुन के आते हैं, अपना बात रखना चाहिए। या हाथ पांव चलाना ये ठीक नहीं है।
इतने डेस्परेट हो गए हैं कि आज ऐसे एकदम झूठी बातें, झूठा एफआईआर। राहुल जी कभी किसी को पुश नहीं करेंगे। मैं उनकी बहन हूँ, इतने सालों से मैं जानती हूँ, कभी इस तरह की हरकत कभी कर ही नहीं सकते। और फ्रैंकली देश भी जानता है, देश देख रहा है कितने डेस्परेट हो गए हैं ये लोग कि इस तरह की फालतू के एफआईआर लगा रहे हैं, क्योंकि सिंपली अडानी पे चर्चा नहीं चाहते। और जो इन्होंने किया है अम्बेडकर जी के साथ, जिस तरह से अपमान किया है, ये जानते हैं कि ये देश नहीं सहेगा ये अपमान।
One of the stormiest sessions in the parliament's history has come to an end amidst a divided house. The Lok Sabha had functioned for around 62 hours, while the Rajya Sabha had functioned for less than 44 hours. The opposition and the government had traded barbs against each other. The opposition had claimed that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was insulted by the Home Minister and called for his resignation. However, the charge was patently denied by the Home Minister and the BJP, who had accused the Congress party of defaming and insulting Dr. B.R. Ambedkar during his lifetime. Two BJP MPs had gotten injured who had claimed that they were pushed by the leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi. An FIR was also registered against him. However, the Congress party and Rahul Gandhi had denied this charge patently. Speaking of the legislative business which took place, the government was slated to introduce 15 bills for amendments to existing laws in the 21-day long parliament session. However, 4 new bills were introduced. The Bharatiya Vayuyan Vidhayak was passed in both the houses. The Oil Fields Amendment and Boilers Bill was passed in the Rajya Sabha, and amendments to the bills for banking laws, railways and disaster management were passed in the Lok Sabha. Also, the bills proposing simultaneous polls for Lok Sabha and state assemblies were referred to a joint parliamentary committee comprising of 21 MPs for further consideration. It remains to be seen what kind of legislative business is slated to happen in the next session of Parliament and what kind of parliamentary committee reports till then would be submitted, which includes the proposal for One Nation, One Election, which has been opposed by the opposition and is being backed by the NDA ruling alliance.
The Supreme Court has set aside a 2007 National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission's order which capped interest rates at 30% for default of credit card dues. A bench of Justice Bela M. Trivedi and Satish Chandra Sharma overruled the order, giving more flexibility to banks. Ashmit Kumar joins us with the latest. Ashmit, what did the court say?
Well, the Apex Court giving a very clear answer that going forward, banks, whether Indian or overseas banks, will be at liberty to charge a fee that they believe is relevant and applicable as far as default on credit card dues is concerned. Now, all of this issue, this entire debate and discussion travels back to 2007. The reason being that is when the national NCDRC, the National Consumer Redressal Grievance Forum, had in fact come out with a ruling which had capped these penal charges at no more than 30%. Now, this is something that caused a great deal of concern within the banking community. The likes of HSBC, Standard Chartered, Citibank, they had moved the apex court, requested for a stay. In 2009, the Supreme Court granted a stay. But the larger question on what really happens on the way forward from here remained. That big question mark has been answered by the apex court. The Supreme Court saying that, yes, indeed, there is a case made out by the banks. They can go ahead and charge penal rates, that these penal rates are computed, keeping in account all the cost components involved as far as banks are concerned and as far as banks are extending credit services are concerned. So with that in mind, the apex court answering this question in favor of the lenders. The rates can now go up to as high as 49%. Back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Ashmit, for joining us with that important case. Moving on to cybersecurity, and cybersecurity threats are increasing across India and worldwide. Zscaler, a global cloud security firm, is helping to combat these risks. Speaking to me, CEO of Zscaler, Jay Chaudhary, said that India needs to do a lot more to bolster its cyber defenses.
India in the past 10 to 20 years has done amazing well in terms of growth. You know, when I went to the US in early 80s, people used to say, where is India? Now everyone knows India. India has come on the world stage. Digital India is a big part of the story. Everything is getting powered by cloud, mobility, the whole digitization, which our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, got started with. And it's wonderful to see the Aadhaar card system, the UPI payment systems are amazing technology that even the West will like to see because India has gotten ahead of most of the world. But the more digitized India gets, the bigger the cyber risk. The bad guys go where the action is. They want to get a piece of action without working hard. That's where companies like Zscaler come in. I started Zscaler in 2008 with the notion that if world goes online, if everything becomes mobile, security will be a big issue. Today, Zscaler is protecting 45% of Fortune 500 company. And we have invested a lot in India in terms of resources, people, and infrastructure. And we are also serving some of the biggest and the largest companies in India that are based in India.
Right. If we were to ask you about some of the biggest threats that Indian firms or companies across the world face, what would those be?
You need to start with the motives. What do bad guys want? Okay, the two things. One, they want money. That's where ransomware attacks come in. And for those attacks, they go after some of the large companies. The second motive is generally national, call it national security or call it national intellectual property or national secrets type of stuff. That's where they go after some of the critical infrastructure because that becomes something for them to use in case there's a war, or they want to steal intellectual property. So some of these countries want to steal, say, jet engine design, so they can build the jet engines and like. Those are the motivations. So for financial companies, for example, ransomware is the biggest threat. For India as a country, its critical infrastructure is a big threat. Those are the two main buckets.
Now, in terms of expanding your operations, do you want to hire more in India? Is there a certain growth that you're aspiring for till 2030?
So the company has grown significantly. Today, we are over $2.5 billion in annual recurring revenue. If you look at the growth of the company in the past 5 or so years, our compounded annual growth has been around 50% or higher than that. In terms of number of employees, we are about 7,500 employees globally, and somewhere in the high 30%, close to 40% of our employees are in India. And as the company grows, obviously we're expanding our employees all around, but the biggest percentage of a single country are in India. We got software development operations, we got customer support operations, customer success, cloud operations, or even our finance team. They are in India. So as the company grows, we expect the headcount in India to grow as well. Right. But that's not only that. India is also a good market for us. I'm very surprised how fast Indian market is growing from sales point of view as compared to what it was 5 or 10 years ago.
A lot of changes happening in the United States. How do you expect India-US ties to move ahead under Donald Trump?
Look, for the last several years, you have been seeing India and US getting aligned, okay, irrespective of the administration. So as Trump administration comes, I think strategically the two countries are aligned, and they keep on getting aligned because we have the same set of enemies to worry about.
Right. Now, in terms of the asks, Donald Trump has given enough feelers that he would like to impose reciprocal taxes on India, high tariffs on India, even though we feel that the bigger target of Donald Trump's tariff regime would be China. How do you think he will respond to the trade partnership with India?
Look, this is perhaps anybody's guess, okay? There have been lots of statements made about tariffs for a range of countries. I think at the end of the day, administration will balance strategic alignment and tariffs. Some of that stuff, it ends up being sometimes the negotiation tactics and whatnot. So I'm not sure where things will land, but I think from strategic long-term point of view, the two countries are aligned and they will stay aligned.
Time for a short break, but coming up, we take stock